I mean, it looks like it's staying over there. The problem is when the target aspect ratio is too big, we get these black bars. So what we need to do is clamp it, I believe. What is this value? Clamp this value here to 2. Alright, so let's try something. Give me my cursor. Okay, so basically what we need to do is, I think this always needs to go through. So we get our current aspect ratio, we clamp it between 1 and 2, and we grab our current aspect ratio. And multiply it out. So it's probably going to be the same sort of thing here where we need to do another multiply by this value with our multiply our y by this as well and feed that into the y value. And the y value is, let's just set it to 0 for now. Okay, so the target aspect ratio, the current one is 1, and this guy is that, so it's not between 1 and 2, it's between the target aspect ratio and 2. About 9.5 hours. Well, why not 10 hours then, right? Okay. Well, I think we might have some progress. So why don't we try slotting in just that X coordinate. And the X coordinate appears to be in the right spot. Let's do the Y. I was like, well, that Y isn't doing anything. Alright, so this should stay on our character. The Y doesn't seem correct. The Y does not seem correct. Why would that be? Would it be that we're using the wrong value for the Y? So we need to be moving farther down. So basically what that's going to be is we have our x correct, but our y is incorrect. Our y is incorrect because, and it's incorrect across, yeah, everything. So if we down, it's incorrect by quite a bit. So it's basically going to be, it's going to be this inverse thing, isn't it? It's going to be, the maximum of this is going to be target aspect, the minimum is going to be 1. It's going to be in between those sorts of things, right? That we need to multiply this thing out by something like that. Because the x is the right value, the y is not. So it's that high. If we just did a pass through, we didn't do any sort of scaling at all for the y, what would it look like? It's like twice as far away or something. Still has the same problem. Still wasn't helping. Do we need to invert these two? That looks like we finally might have it. Yeah, it looks like it's probably what needed to happen. Yeah. Alright, so now we need to add in the offset for the middle of the object. Which I believe is always going to be the same thing. It's 960 in... it's 960 in width, and we just need to move over to... What is it? It's going to be 960 divided by 2, which is going to be 480 minus... Was it 256? So it's going to be... We need to move over... 224 to the left. So the x value needs to be just 224. So I'll set this guy to negative 224, and we'll just do these two. It'll be translation plus center trans. And we'll see if that centers our object. It definitely didn't center our object. Center translate. Should have been moving it that direction, because that's how you center things. Yeah, and that looks like we finally got this thing properly set up. Alright, so let's go back and take a little bit of a look at this thing. Can we get the width of the actual widget? Not really. Not very well. Do we use the window size? I don't think so. Well, it definitely took quite a while to arrive at the solution for it. But a solution has been found. What a pain in the ass. It's definitely like a scaling problem with the widget. And the translate's not actually working properly for like Slate or something. That's just crazy. well, let's go to our widget and let's make it only appear when it's supposed to. Alright, so if we go to our widget and we go to the designer for it, is there some way that we can determine the bounds of this bastard? Because that's what we need, is the bounds of it and some sort of center on it. And what I could do is make a variable here, or I could actually throw this center translate variable onto this object. That way I don't have to use this center translate on it. Where are you used? No references found. Okay, well then apparently that's just a bug in the system there. And I'll just continue to clean this up. Let's see, this is going to be aspect X. Let's see, default width 1650. default height, default width, slot in there, default height, slot in there. So the default width times 0.5. So basically what this will do is this will nicely kind of compartmentalize a lot of our bullshit into some variables that we can change without having to go fiddle with all the things in the graph. Excellent. So I think that's all working. Let's just make sure that we got everything done that we're wanting to. What is this update? Where is it even called from? Event tick. So we don't actually need this. Do we need anything else for this guy though? So we have this center translate. I should probably put a tooltip on there. Like, this is the offset of this object to center it on the target, on the player. Yeah, I think there's one other thing, which is the pivot for this object, right? Is what we need. The pivot is needing to be, what is it? If we are 960 in width, it's at 256. So we need width divided by whatever. So we should probably have like, if I was gonna actually have some variables here for Adam to screw around with, we would want something like some width and height stuff. What would it be? Alright, so center position. We're gonna have that at 256, 256. Can we get the height of the widget? I mean, we have my geometry. Get local size? Yeah, let's see what we've got for this. See what we can do with this. We can't break geometry into fucking anything. Does that remind anybody of high school? Alright, what is our... size of widget is 96512. Okay, so what we'll basically be able to do here is get our cache geometry. We'll basically set our center translate to our geometry size. Let's see, what would this be? Divided by 2. So it'll be times 0.5. Center translate is going to be divided by 2.5. It's so 480 minus 256. And we will break this, and we'll get this, and basically it's this value minus this value. Do subtract. So we'd set our center translate to this guy. So I'll just call it set geometry. Alright, let's make sure this works. It appears to work. Well, excellent. So that is everything that I need to do for this, I believe. So we got our center position, we got our center translate, we've got all the bells and whistles on this thing. So basically what this does is, this was kind of the last class of UI elements that I really needed to get in there, which is a UI element which will be positioned relative to something else on the screen. So that it took a whole bunch of bullshit like this to do it is fine. This was the last big problem with the UI stuff that we needed to make sure we could actually do, which is like put a health bar on somebody, put a nameplate on somebody, right? So that this took 10 hours, 11 hours to do is not a bad thing, because we don't have to do it again. And we just had to figure out what magical incantation you need to say in the words in the right order with each and every little syllable in order to actually get it to do what you want it to do. Which is basically that the aspect ratio scaling is fucking wrong for parts of Slate, and as a result we have to translate stuff in screen space because the scaling's right. The problem is the scaling doesn't move the object in regular ways. It moves them in relative ways to the center of the screen. It's basically the problem of zooming in on a map and panning at the same time. If you just make a map bigger from an origin, it will expand the map and you'll actually move, your eye will move down and to the left if it scaled from the bottom left. And you need to do that both at the same time. So it's a pretty simple, it's a pretty common error. And I'm not too horribly upset that I had to spend a bunch of time screwing around. But let's get it in there. Alright, so we have a UI widget for aim shot. Yeah, I mean we did a lot of crap there to make it work, so that's fine. Let's pull down what Adam grabbed and see what he's got kicking around. Did he actually get a new map in there? Doesn't look like it. New vacant barrier. So he's working on the new map and it's not done yet. Did he actually start working on Unreal for that, or is that just... Because otherwise, it's fine to check in incomplete maps. As long as they're not, used, I can go set up the rigging for him. You ever did the map halfway, changed around? Alright, so he's not. He's doing things. He's got the rest of the weekend to do that. And we've got our music dude, our composer, he said he's going to be on board for another music track for this one. So that's pretty exciting. So we always get new music tracks, and they're always good. So thanks for sticking around, and today was a whole bunch of frustration, but not like horribly frustrating frustration, more of just mildly annoying frustration, which revolved around getting Windows Update screwed and everything else. So thanks for sticking around and have a good night. I am going to probably get food since I haven't eaten literally all day.